All right, let's take a look at how we can enhance our memory with mnemonic techniques. And specifically, I want to talk about the method of Loci and some acronyms as well. So the method of Loci is so old. It's ancient. It's an ancient mnemonic technique. It dates back to ancient Greece, actually. So I think it was actually, I've got a date here. Let me check. 477 BC. That's very, very cool. And it has not really changed in, 2.5 millennia. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, basically. Now, the method of Loci, we also call this a mental walk or the mental journey, because what it actually does is it capitalizes on your brain's natural ability to encode and retrieve information through spatial memory networks, primarily involving the hippocampus, right? So when we visualize information, and basically what we do with the method of Loci is we take a mental walk through a familiar place, and then we imagine different information in specific locations within this familiar environment. And when we visualize information in specific locations within a familiar environment, what it does is it triggers a robust neural activation pattern which involves the hippocampus and other associated brain regions. And this pattern, as it lights up, it starts to travel down those neural pathways that we want to strengthen, and it strengthens memory encoding and retrieval by creating strong associations between the information and the spatial context as well. So let's say that you need to remember a shopping list consisting of apples, milk, and bread. So what you want to do is you want to choose that familiar location. So imagine that you're walking through your house, for example. And remember, what are the things that we need to remember? Apples, milk, and bread. So we'll imagine this is how we do the method of Loci. Take that mental walk. Imagine yourself walking through your home, and I want you to think about the details, the familiar things that are in your house that you know, the landmarks, the objects, the rooms, the stuff that we know because it's familiar to us. And I want you to walk into the kitchen. And as you walk into the kitchen, I want you to visualize a ripe apple on your kitchen counter. And I want you to then look over to walk into the living room. And I want you to see a carton of milk on the living room couch. And then I want you to walk into the bedroom. And I want you to see a loaf of bread on your bedroom dresser. So take that mental walk with me. You're in your house, walk into your kitchen, and what is there on your counter? It's a really ripe apple. Now we walk into our living room. What's there on the couch? A carton of milk. And then in your bedroom, as we walk into your bedroom, what do you see on the dresser? There's a loaf of bread there. And this might seem a little bit funny, but remember, this is like very old, 2.5 millennia old, and it's worked, and it's stood the test of time. It hasn't changed since back then, because what happens is when we mentally link these items to specific locations, we create much more vivid and memorable associations, and that aids us in retrieval when we need to recall these items later. So what does it do? It leads to enhanced encoding because it utilizes the brain's spatial memory networks, which lets us to enhance things at a deeper level. And it also improves our retrieval. And that's that strong association between items and those spatial locations that we create through that method of Loci. And what does it do? It just makes that retrieval more efficient. So when you mentally revisit the familiar environment, the spatial context triggers recall of the associated information. Really, really cool, really simple, and stuff that works. And this is just about leveraging and capitalizing the natural way that your brain wants to operate. And that's really what neuroscience is. How do we do things in a way that makes sense to our brain? Because our brains are geared to do these things already, right? All right, let's talk about acronyms. And acronyms is really just about simplifying complex information. So acronyms are the mnemonic devices that use the initial letters of a series of words to form or information to form a memorable word or phrase. And they're particularly useful for remembering lists or steps or complex information that needs to be simplified and easily retrievable. Now, why do these work? Well, these work because acronyms tap into different cognitive processes that aid memory. They promote chunking, information chunking, and that's that grouping those individual pieces of information into larger, more manageable units. And what that does is that reduces the cognitive load on working memory, and that allows for better encoding and better recall. So acronyms also activate semantic memory networks by creating meaningful connections between the individual words that they represent. We use these all the time. So one of the ways that we use this a lot is in the way that we put together our courses and the way that we put together our lessons. And we follow what we call our FASTER framework, FASTR, our FASTER framework. And really great acronyms will evoke an idea of the outcome of what they want to achieve as well. And for us, the FASTER framework, FASTR, stands for foundational knowledge. And then we want to take that foundational knowledge and we want to align it to our own environment, right? We want to make it real in our real world. Then we want to provide a solution for everything that we need to put into place. Then we actually want to train ourselves or teach ourselves that solution. And the last thing that we want to do is we want to recall everything and we want to recharge ourselves as well. So it takes us through this stage of really fast knowledge transfer and really fast skill development as well. And we can do this with everything. So imagine if you wanted to remember the colors of a rainbow. So what are the colors in a rainbow? Red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Try and remember those and just hit pause and say back all of those colors as you can. See if you get them right. Do it now. Okay, so now you've done that. Might have been maybe you nailed it, but it might have been a little bit tricky. So let's create an acronym for red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Violet, I don't know what that is, violet. So let's use the acronym Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv. And that just uses the first letter of each color. Roy G. Biv. Now try and remember the orders of the colors in a rainbow. So hit pause. Roy G. Biv. Do you get it? Hit pause and give it a go. Now, this acronym simplifies the information and it provides an easily retrievable cue for recalling the sequence of colors. So Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Much easier than remembering them all, right? So they're two ways. And why did I give you those two examples? Well, FASTER, it tells us what it's about. It's got some context to it. So that way we think, well, that's how we need to do it. No, it just needs to be an easier way to simplify the information. Roy G. Biv, that doesn't mean anything, right? But it's memorable. Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow. Where was I up to? Roy G. Green, Biv. Then we've got blue, indigo, violet. Oh, I've got it, right? So it just makes it a lot more simpler. It's that simplification of that complex information because it condenses it down into something that we can actually remember, and it reduces our information overload and it's better encoding, better retrieval. It also promotes chunking and semantic processing. So acronyms promote the chunking of information into meaningful units, so we can remember it better, right? And that helps us with the activation of memory encoding and retrieval. So there's two concepts. The memory of loci, take yourself for that mental walk and use spatial recognition to lock in some items or some information with specific areas. And remember, this has existed for a long time and it works. And the other one is acronyms as well. And so we're leveraging spatial memory and we're leveraging chunking and simplifying complex information, and that's going to help you a lot. Two really simple ways that you can remember information, sequences, and so have a think. How can you utilize the method of loci? Which acronyms can you create to really be able to help you to remember information as well, not just for yourself, for your team members, for your clients, and stop and think about it, because there's probably some areas where you can put things into practice immediately. And I'll be honest, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun creating acronyms and taking these mental walks as well. So get into it, experiment, play around with it, and see how it goes for you. That's all for now. Bye now.